This is how we took our dark and musty shed and turned it into an awesome place to store all of our gear and to work out through the winter. So as you guys know, a few years ago we bought this 102-year-old house that had a little tiny shed behind it, and this is our only garage. And so during the whole renovation process, it was a mess. After I cleaned it out, it turned into just a storage spot for materials and tools and all of our gear. And so I wanted to clean things up and make it a little bit usable. So I started by building a tool shed outside of the shed itself. And this would be for all of my construction tools so that I can make the shed just a place for recreation gear. And then I built some new shelves in it, touched up the paint, moved some things around, got some new lighting, and this is how it turned out. All right, it's time to give you guys a tour of our shed. So this is just my toolbox with all my odds and ends that I use for working on my bike, truck, whatever else. And then this really cool old lantern that Sadie's grandpa gave us, and I haven't actually tried to use it, but I think it'll work. And so that's this corner. And then right here is kind of the main station that I built this whole setup around. And that is because, one, we like to bike, and we're training right now for a trip to Spain that we're gonna be doing here in about a month. And so in the winter, it can be hard to ride here in Idaho just because of snow, cold weather, and then it's dark all the time. And so this is a good alternate. I spend a lot of early mornings, late nights out here riding, and this setup's been awesome. I've used it for about, or at least this trainer, for about coming up on 2 years now. The trainer plugs into the wall and it has Bluetooth, so it connects to my phone, and then I use an app. It's called Trainer Road, and that does all of my programming for me. And so then I just pretty much come out here, look at my calendar, click on the workout, and they talk to each other, the trainer and my phone do, and I just start spinning. It adjusts the resistance accordingly to where it makes me do the workout that I'm supposed to do for the day. And to make it easier, I built this little flip down table here. And for that, I just set up my laptop on here, then I flip it open, and I'll usually just watch YouTube videos or whatever I feel like. I can even kind of work over my bars if I need to. So that's been really nice. And then a shelf for drinks and coffee and whatnot. And then my phone just mounts up right here on the front on this little mount. And so that's where my workout is. I can see what I'm doing. My laptop is my entertainment. And yes, we spend many hours out here, and it's great. So back here, because we have multiple bikes and it's constantly kind of a shuffle in and out, I wanted an easy way to hang them up, store them, and then be able to move them around. So I have, my other bike, Sadie's bike, hanging here right now, and any one of them can go onto the trainer, but otherwise they just kind of store out of the way. And then this whole back wall is just filled with all of the gear. That used to just be an absolute mess in here. It's always so hard to, you'd have to pull 10 things out to reach one thing at the bottom. And so this was kind of my solution to have everything accessible and not have to unstack things first. And then over on this side, I have a freezer, chest freezer. That's because we are hunters and we fill this thing up with meat. And then all throughout the winter, I just grab something out of here. And then in this corner, I've got a bunch of hooks that I just store trekking poles, ski poles, all stuff like that. I've got some solar panels there. And then our skis just hang right here. And that way they're in a somewhat dry environment. They can dry off after we're done using them and they don't get all rusty. Got bike helmets, and then this is a bike stand, and so I can actually throw this outside if I want to work on my bike, or put it in my truck if we need to take it somewhere so that we have a spot. It just grabs onto the seat post of the bike, or I suppose you could use the top tube, and then it's off the ground, easy to work on things. And then over here, just got my bike pump. I've got a heater. This has a thermostat built in, so I just turn it on. A lot of times in the winter, as soon as I wake up, I'll bump out here, turn on the heater, and then go back inside, make my coffee, grab a snack. And then by the time I come out here, if it's 15 degrees outside, it'll at least take the edge off, so it'll be a nice balmy 30 or 40 degrees. And then if I do have gear that we're drying out, I can just let this run all day long, which is nice. So I do have power out here, obviously, which makes it nice to be able to have the freezer and the heater. And then I charge the batteries for my tools from my tool locker right here, and then I just have a few random biking tools there. And this light over my head is a motion sensor light bar, which is really nice. So I just leave that on all the time. And so when I come out in the morning, as soon as I open the door, the motion kicks it on, and then I just use that. And then underneath, I've got a cabinet and I just store rags and things like that, and then my little bike tool kit. So this is just my micro workbench. One thing that I learned long ago, I guess, was from my dad. I was building a tool bench in our old shop so I could help work on farm equipment, and I wanted to build a massive one. He's like, oh yeah, you can, but the reality is no matter how big of a bench you make, you'll use up all the space, and so smaller will just force you to keep it cleaner. And I found that to be pretty much true for me too. So tiny little workbench, but it's sufficient for the little projects I have here, and anything that is like woodworking or larger, I can use the rollout tool bench that I have out in the tool locker out there. So that is pretty much it for the shed. It's been awesome so far. One thing I didn't mention was this light up here. This is a 3-panel LED light, so I already had an existing light thread right there. And so instead of just getting a brighter bulb, I got this 3-piece LED one. It has lower draw than your standard 60-watt bulb that was in there. And I'm able to reflect it off the ceiling, and then it gives a nice, fairly even light around here. Or if I need it to be more direct, I can just spin this around and direct the light off of whatever panel I want to use. So overall, hopefully this gives you a few ideas. If you don't have a garage like me and you're looking for a way to store your gear, and if you're a bike or train, whatever it is, just remember you don't have to have a massive space. You just have to have a little better plan if you don't have a big space. And if you drive through any neighborhood in the US at least, you'll find very quickly that even if you do have a big garage, people find a way to load it up with crap. And so, yeah, if you've got a small space, just make it work.